Welcome to my first YouTube video, and today I'm going to be making a video for a 2020 election prediction, Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump. So I'm going to be using safe and toss-up for now, including the independent and color rotation. So let's start with the safe states. The Midwest could become competitive because of Sanders' appeal, but it went by more than 30% to Donald Trump, so I'm going to keep it safe. I'm just filling in the South now. So New Mexico will go to Sanders, the West Coast, obviously. Nevada, I'm going to leave as a toss-up. I think Colorado would be pretty safe for now because of the growing Latino population and how much it went for Clinton against Trump. So Arizona would be toss-up. Alaska would go to Trump. Hawaii would go to Sanders. Minnesota would be a toss-up. The rest of the Rust Belt would be toss-up. New York would be safe. Vermont, the Northeast would be safe for Bernie Sanders. I'm going to put Virginia as safe for Sanders because it went for Hillary Clinton by a big margin, and Bernie Sanders could get more Democratic turnout. I think New Hampshire would be safe because he's really popular there and he could relate to the people there. I'm going to give Maine at large to Bernie Sanders and leave Maine's 1st Congressional District as a toss-up because of Bernie Sanders' northeastern appeal. So Illinois will go to Sanders. Florida will be a toss-up. Georgia will be a toss-up. North Carolina will be a toss-up. Iowa and Ohio will be toss-ups. So this is the current electoral map. 216 for Bernie Sanders and 163 for Donald Trump. So I'm going to give Arizona to Donald Trump because even though it might become closer, Donald Trump could still get out his base to vote for him. And Bernie Sanders can't really appeal to minorities as well as Hillary Clinton could, so I think Trump would carry Arizona. Georgia would go to Donald Trump, and North Carolina. Bernie Sanders can't really appeal to the southern white working class in the South, and Trump can appeal to the South, so he would probably carry Georgia and North Carolina. And we need to remember that Bernie Sanders can't appeal to minorities. Ohio, I think that will go to Donald Trump, really narrowly. Like in 2016, it went by 8%. Now it's going to go by like 2%. Because Bernie Sanders could appeal to the white working class, but Trump got so many voters that not all of them would turn away. The same thing with Iowa. Even though Bernie Sanders has a rural appeal, it won't be enough to take the whole state. Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District would go to Donald Trump, just because of how much the rest of the state went, and because of Trump's appeal to the Midwest. Like he can appeal, but he isn't well liked in the Midwest. But I think that it only went to Obama because he got minority turnout and he got more white voters. Bernie Sanders can't get minorities from Nebraska, so I think it will stay with Trump. And Florida, this state could decide the election for Sanders. Like if he gets Florida, then the Rust Belt will probably go to him. So Florida, Bernie Sanders could appeal to the old people and veterans that live there. But Donald Trump won it in 2016 by 100,000 votes. 100,000, that's a lot. And Trump's approval ratings are around 4% in Florida. And Bernie Sanders and progressives and socialists aren't that well liked in Florida, even though they nominated a socialist candidate for the and Maine's 2nd congressional district, just because it went to him by over 15%. So a lot of them would turn back to Bernie Sanders, but some would stay. So Trump would be able to carry it in a narrow margin, but he would still carry it. Nevada would go to Bernie Sanders. He would be able to get out the voters better than Hillary Clinton, and Hillary Clinton's won it by 3%. So I think that Sanders would carry Nevada. Sanders would carry Minnesota because of his rural appeal and his white working class appeal. I think that Michigan would go to Bernie Sanders. Michigan, Trump is hated in Michigan right now. But even he won it by the smallest margin of all the 3 Rust Belt states. And I think that most candidates would be able to beat Trump in Michigan from what we're seeing right now. So I think that Michigan would go to Bernie Sanders. Wisconsin would go to Bernie Sanders because of his appeal to the white working class and how much Trump's disapproval rating is in Wisconsin. Even though he's getting back jobs in Wisconsin, they don't really like him from now on, because they don't like him right now because of partisan politics. So I think that Sanders would carry Wisconsin. I think Pennsylvania, this is a big one. I think Trump would carry Pennsylvania. Let me explain. Trump's approval rating has been going up in Pennsylvania for the last few times. And Trump carried Pennsylvania the most out of all the Rust Belt states. Trump's been campaigning there the most. So if he keeps on campaigning, then he could get all his base back. Maybe he'll lose like a little bit, like a tiny like percentage point, but he would be able to make that up with independent voters. So I think that Pennsylvania would go to Donald Trump, and Bernie Sanders would kind of split the votes. Some liberals that are like Joe Biden wouldn't vote for him in Pennsylvania. So that's the end of my video, and the electoral map is 258 for Sanders and 280 for Trump. Thank you, and see you in my next video.